Epictetus ran a school in Nicopolis around 108 AD, and one of his classroom rules was this. His advanced students were required to speak last in every group discussion. Not because silence is golden, because the first person to speak, he said, almost always does it out of fear. That rule is recorded in the discourses. The notes his student Arian took down verbatim from his lectures. It's not a proverb, it's a documented classroom practice, and the reasoning behind it is stranger and sharper than almost anyone who quotes it today lets on. The version that circulates now goes something like this. Speak last to show respect, to gather more information, to lead with humility. That's the LinkedIn version. Epictetus would have found it almost completely beside the point. Here is what he actually argued. When a silence opens up in a room, a pause after a question, a gap in the conversation, most people feel an almost physical pull to fill it. Epictetus called that pull a kind of appetite, and he was precise about where it comes from. It comes from the need to be seen as competent or useful or present. The rush to speak first is, in his framing, a performance of anxiety. You're not contributing to the conversation. You're managing your own discomfort at the expense of the conversation. Notice what he does not say. He does not say the first speaker is wrong or rude or ignorant. He says the first speaker is revealing something they probably haven't examined. And his students, he insisted, should be able to examine it in themselves before they let it run. This is the part modern readers consistently soften. They turn it into advice about listening skills. But Epictetus wasn't teaching communication strategy. He was teaching self-exposure as a discipline, the practice of catching yourself in the act of performing. In the Discourses, Book 3, he makes the point with characteristic bluntness. He tells his students that most of what people say in conversation is not thought. It's reflex. It's the sound their anxiety makes when it finds an opening. And the reason he made his students sit with that, to hold back, to let others speak first, to wait, was not to make them better listeners. It was to make them witnesses to their own impulses. You cannot govern what you have not yet seen. There's a further layer here that almost never gets mentioned. Epictetus was a former slave. He spent the first portion of his life in a condition where speaking first, or speaking at all without permission, could be physically dangerous. He knew from direct experience what it cost to suppress speech under duress. So when he built silence into his curriculum, he wasn't romanticizing restraint from a position of comfort. He was taking something that had been forced on him and reframing it as a tool of perception. That transformation, from imposed condition to chosen discipline, is very specifically Stoic. The Stoics generally were interested in this kind of inversion. Take what happens to you and find a leverage in it. Epictetus does this more concretely than almost anyone in the tradition because he had more to invert. So here is what the instruction actually resolves to, stripped of the self-help gloss. Speaking last is not about gathering more data. It is not about appearing wise. It is a daily experiment in catching the fear before it speaks for you. The next time a silence opens up, and you feel that pull, the urge to fill it, to establish yourself, to be heard, that feeling itself is the lesson. Epictetus would say, stay with it one more second, not forever, just long enough to see what it's made of. That 1 second is where the discipline lives.